So basically, when we were trying to define the right structure of our today's webinar, we were communicating with you, Amr, on the best ideas. And bearing in mind your experience in software development, we came up with that the better choice is to trying to define and explain to our listeners how it's better to develop the products. Especially, it's essential to those who are founders of different ideas of companies, right? And who do not know where to start, because where to start is usually the matter of not only the idea itself and its feature set, but also your target audiences, the markets where you're trying to launch your product, and also the demand in the market, right? Because demand in the market will define what functionalities should be inside and how it's better to define the right architectures. Usually, when we are discussing founders and their ideas, usually they want to monetize their ideas from day one, kind of earning money, right? However, a few can think about software architectures, the right one. So today, with our guest speaker, we are going to dig deeper into the whys and whats of creating the right product architectures, do's and don'ts of this process, and real strategies based on examples to avoid common mistakes. Because for sure, today we are not going to give you the set of recommendations which will fit your business, right? However, from the examples that will be provided during the session, you will be able to understand how different mistakes were avoided through applying different valuable recommendations, practices, and so on. I'm welcoming our expert speaker, Amr Moez, a PMP certified software engineer and business analyst who specializes in managing and scaling complex healthcare software platforms using agile workflows. Amr, welcome to our expert session and thank you for finding your time.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Amr, when communicating with founders globally, I regularly notice this pattern that most of them want to start product development prior to checking their idea on paper first with some proof of concept or minimum viable product. And here is a real example of a mistake made by a company called Quibi. They launched with a good investment round of $1.75 billion in funding, but unfortunately without real user validation. Because founders of Quibi assumed that users will want their Hollywood quality application, short form content behind application, and a set of features that they presented. But unfortunately, in the end, the platform folded in just 8 months because it solved the problem users didn't actually have. Though you are a technical expert, I bet on a regular basis you're communicating with founders, with business people, sales and marketing of the companies, right, which you're collaborating with. And from this experience, I'm sure you already learned the biggest points of misunderstandings where teams cannot meet the same, cannot say stay on the same page, right? How it's better to implement it to customers uh, in parallel doing the right technologically written steps, right, in terms of developing the product, defining the very architecture of this product, and so on. In your experience, what is the biggest mistake founders make before product development start? Would be nice to listen to your experience and probably some examples.
Okay, as you just said, founders want to make money from day one, so
Mm-hmm,
that mainly is some of the problem, as
mm-hmm,
they should make money from day one, but it
mm-hmm,
takes time to build.
mm-hmm,
So the misunderstanding and the mistake they do, they don't check the market for what they are about to sell.
mm-hmm,
They when after they check the market for what they want to sell, they can
mm-hmm,
sit down with the technical team. We need to sell one, two, three, four. How to build it? Can you build
mm-hmm,
it? They will have a set of meetings. Yes, we can build it. It will take X amount of time.
Mhm. Mhm.
So after that, they put a plan. They implement it. Without this sit down or meeting, almost always
Mhm.
will be down the road problems down
Mhm.
the road. Why? Because I didn't develop the plan based on my vision
Mhm.
as a founder,
Yeah.
realistically as a developer or as an implementer. It's not just in software. It's startups all over, products in general. I need to know my vision for this product. Then I will sit down with the manufacturer of this product, in this case, the developers or the business team that knows that are the link between the developers and the founders or the business. Then we start develop a plan. This most likely will go according to my vision
Mhm.
and realistically, so I can make money from day one of launching and day one of having the idea. That's the biggest mistake. It takes time to make money.
Great source of recommendation. Thanks a lot, Amr. In this way, looks like making your version into software normally should start by documenting, right, what is to be built and why. And probably here is the very point where you can agree on this with your team, right, by documenting. Because if it's documented, right, it's negotiated inside internally and already
Exactly.
confirmed, right?
Exactly.
Here is a good point. Statistics from GP Morgan, not statistics, but their examples of how they of best practices on how to agree on something internally with their team. Basically, JP Morgan's internal product team uses a standard agile story format. Probably you're also using it on day-to-day activities. Who is the user? What do they want to do and why? And mainly documenting everything like that helps JP Morgan's technological team and product team to gather features requests and to keep discussions focused on customer needs. So when their internal team really understands where to focus at the moment of time and why they need it. From your own experience, maybe with some examples from your past employers, how do you turn a business idea into a clear technical plan? What to do?
Okay, first we sit down with the idea owner or the business owner. Uh, we get the gist of what he needs.
Mm-hmm,
After that, we break down the features that
mm-hmm,
he needs and put it in paper,
mm-hmm,
on paper, or on a Word document if we are going paper free. Uh, After that, we meet an agreement
mm-hmm,
that these are the sets of features that we are building our plan on,
mm-hmm,
as we discussed in the previously. After that, we discuss internally how we can implement each and every set of features.
mm-hmm,
So, for example, I am building an form application.
mm-hmm,
This form application is not necessarily your idea is not necessarily that I build a solution. We can do a simple subscription and make this work for
mm-hmm,
Google Forms or Microsoft Forms.
mm-hmm,
We don't need to build it. But
mm-hmm,
if we need to build it, we need to say so in writing. So we have the agreement further down the road
mm-hmm,
that we needed to build it in our own because one, two, three, four.
mm-hmm,
No, we didn't need to build it. We just subscribed for Google. It costed a little bit and one, two, three, four, five reasons. We
mm-hmm,
went with Microsoft. We went with any other ready-made application
mm-hmm,
because one, two, three, four. That's how we create a clear plan. So
mm-hmm,
we find ourselves. why we made this decision further
Mm-hmm.
down the line.
Mm-hmm.
That's mainly why we make plans.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this answered your questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Looks like a really structured recommendation to those who are just at the beginning of their company launch, right? Or idea launch. Because in this way, founders, whether they have their internal teams or whether they're outsourcing development efforts from some companies, right? Sitting down together, agreeing on paper what should be implemented, why should be implemented, what's the best feature set, or maybe third parties integrations to be included, and why, like you've mentioned, 1 2 3 arguments, right, will help to first track this history log, second approve these ideas prior to starting of their implementation. And before we implement anything, right, here's a big mistake which is made by almost every company. They're trying to implement all the features from day one. However, global experience shows that around 70% of your initial product features, I mean from the full product set, won't be used by your target audiences and target users. And it sounds like spending months building complex code is a waste of capital, right? Here's a good example, which I've mentioned to you a couple of hours ago about Uber. Initially in 2010, they implemented their application, putting there only just one button. And this button allowed Uber founders to check their hypothesis, whether their potential users, their target audiences, is ready to pay a premium subscription or premium cost for a reliable on-demand luxury ride. So whether they will push this button to order a car where we will receive a car with a stranger driver whom we don't know, who will drive us to the particular place. So it was the first hypothesis which Uber founders wanted to check, and that's why they did not implement the full scope of application, which we can use now, like redirecting, ordering, even food delivery inside the Uber application. At that time, it was just one button. Amar, maybe you could recommend founders who are listening to us or people who are dealing with product on day-to-day basis. How do you decide which features belong in version one? Version one is usually like proof of concept or minimum viable product. Imagine we have a bunch of features and now we need to sit down and agree what should we avoid and what should we leave behind. How to do this perfectly well?
That was a great example, and the Uber example. Uh, you don't necessarily fulfill your full vision at first. You don't necessarily have a full vision at first. You can start slow, as the example of Uber and Facebook started as a group chat or a group social media for a university. Now it's Facebook and Meta.
Mm-hmm,
So you need to show the value of your product of or your idea with as little as low progress technically, or
mm-hmm,
for another, the lazy way out. So
mm-hmm,
what least I can do and still get paid,
mm-hmm,
what least I can do and show the value.
mm-hmm,
That way I can show the value early on so we people can attach to the idea or the product. I show you the value early on so you can buy from me this product and have a trust in me so we can progress together.
mm-hmm,
As in case of Uber, you
mm-hmm,
click the button, a stranger came with his own car, took you
mm-hmm.
from point A to point B. Now you can call a bus with it. You can call a motorbike with it.
Mhm,
You can ask a stranger to grab you food.
mhm,
That's a whole different vision from
mhm,
what it started from. But
mhm,
you have to start somewhere. You don't need to start fully prepared. The least amount of of product you can give out, you give out. Why? You might be wrong, so you need to reevaluate. You might target the wrong audience, and you
Mhm.
find yourself wanting that audience, not this one. So you
Mhm.
change your idea around the new audience, not the first ones. Mainly, if I invest too much in a product, I will want it to succeed as it is. If I invest too low in the product and too much in the idea, I can change the product to fulfill the idea.
It's a good piece of advice here, Amr. And uh, comprehensively elaborating on this, it would be nice to maybe give some recommendations also on the backbone of any development. Usually, it's so-called architecture. Architecture is where our product starts, right?
Yes.
Architecture is what we start from in order to create something which will be a basis for future functionalities on top building, integrations, connection, API connection, and so on. How do you know a product architecture is ready for launch? Maybe you could give some examples on how it's better to select the right architecture, what to avoid when selecting the right architecture. Maybe you could give some real examples of how you selected the architecture and recommendations of the structure of such an architecture and why. For sure, here we cannot give an advice for everyone, right? For everyone's product, but at least based on examples, because with these examples, founders who are listening to us today will be able to understand how in which way these examples might be applied to their own businesses.
Okay. The quick answer for this is I have a set of features that I want to build, so I need to work my architecture around this set of features. Let's say I am building a software system or an enterprise software system. So what I really need is stability.
Mhm,
So I have two ways to go, either
mhm,
SQL Server or
mhm.
Oracle database.
Okay.
I need to how I get there. I need to know how I'm hosting this. If
Mhm,
I am hosting it on Windows Server applications, then I'm good. I can almost everything I can use within the IIS. I can host whatever I want.
mhm,
Uh, so, for example, if my environment, most of the enterprise environments nowadays are Windows servers. So we build around that.
mhm,
If the solution that I suggested need to be in Python, most likely I would not have any member of my team that know how to operate a Python server.
mhm,
We need to put that in check.
mhm,
For let's continue the Windows road. I have a Windows server, so most likely for stability, I can go for SQL Server. So
mhm,
it's pretty stable. It's known worldwide. It's easy to use.
mhm,
But if I were to need a different set of features that
mhm,
SQL Server doesn't necessarily provide. I can use for PostgreSQL, for example,
mhm,
beside SQL Server. It doesn't need to be one way. It can be
mhm,
two ways, three ways, four ways, as many ways as you need.
mhm,
Nowadays, or it's been known for a while, we can do microservices.
mhm,
Microservices was introduced for this specific problem. My stability for a set of features needs SQL Server. My stability for a set of features needed a NoSQL based database. So it's not on SQL Server.
mhm,
It goes on Postgre, for example, or Node.js or whatever database I am. I prefer to use or my team knows how to use. The main focus should be what my team knows. If I
Mm-hmm.
don't have a team, I'm building it, so it's easier to build an architecture around the idea alone, not the team. But if for enterprise, I need to check what enterprise ready, what is stable, what is if I am really willing to go open source or not. If I really don't or can't go open source, so possibly that I just suggested it's out of the question because it's open source. Open
Mm-hmm.
source has its gains and its pain points. SQL Server can do it all, but it will be slower in areas and faster in some. Uh, and For development languages, the same goes. C sharp is good for some stuff. It can do it all, but it's good for this. And Swift is good for other things. And let's say if I need to build an iOS application, I need to
Mm-hmm.
use Swift. If I need to do Android, I used to only do it on Java. Now I can do
Mm-hmm.
it in Kotlin and Java, and now even we have Flutter. It can go cross-platform. We can do it a web-based application that can be shaped in any form I need, a tablet, a phone, a website,
Mm-hmm.
a desktop C. So back to the question, I feel like we deviated from it. When do I tell that my architecture is ready to go? When I can meet my MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I can always change my architecture based on the product.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's easier than ever to change everything,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not uh, really to. We don't plan to change much. We
Mm-hmm.
need to build the architecture based on our long-term plan, of course, but we have too many variables, so we can give the ultimate advice. We can give it.
Absolutely. Agree with you, Amor. And here, things happen still, and still, teams, when deciding on the right architecture afterwards, unfortunately, in some cases, face the situation of a weak architecture. It happens, right? In some case, you can recommend a good one. In some case, unfortunately, no. And in this way, weak product system design, weak product system architecture will definitely reveal itself through rising complexity in the long term. That's what you've mentioned. Your architecture should be really a match to your MVP vision, right? And should help you to scale this MVP in the long run. And there are a lot of practices on how to avoid the issues of selecting bad architecture. For instance, in 2002, Jeff Bezos issued his famous API mandate. Maybe you've heard about this, ordering that every team must expose their data and functionality strictly through service interfaces and communicate solely through them. Basically, what the founder wanted to underline with that is that teams no longer needed permissions on meetings to innovate. So imagine the architecture was delivered. Now we're trying to develop based on this architecture. And development is usually run not only by one person, right? At least two, at least three. They should communicate somehow, and agree on things somehow, right? To add more features in the long run. So basically, with this innovation made by Jeff Bezos for their Amazon environments, they could completely rewrite its internal code or database structure whenever they wanted, and as long as their public API interface stayed the same, and they would never break anyone's else software. So imagine they created the common interface for their development team, and this way allowing them to openly see what's happening, how to redevelop it, and not to destroy the work of the others. In your experience, Amor, what is the first warning sign of weak system design? And maybe there are some practices from your experience on how to avoid building this weak system designs, maybe best practices and which tools to implement to prevent destroying architectures made for startup ideas.
Okay, first, to encourage every system designer, there is no weak system design,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a compatible system design and
Mm-hmm.
a non-compatible one and
Mm-hmm.
a so-so.
Mm-hmm.
What do I mean by this? As I said, we can choose SQL Server and go with it the full way. But
Indeed.
if we need something real time, SQL Server can have problems with that. So we need to add a different source of database that use real time, like MySQL, for example,
Mm-hmm.
or if I can no, go out open source, Postgre, for example, also. So if my architecture is not designed to have more than one input,
Mm-hmm.
it will fail.
Mm-hmm.
If my organization grows and I have to connect two systems via integration or whatever means necessarily, if my architecture can't support this, it will fail. So I need to improve my architecture or build from the ground up, like the example you just said. Uh, my system design uh, is for my current vision. If we did succeed like Amazon, uh, let's take Amazon for example.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon started as a bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
Then we are selling everything right now. We are
Mm-hmm.
delivering food. We are. So they are most likely using microservices structure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what is the benefit for this structure? I can expand and grow my system however I want.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every microservice, let's not call it microservice, each and every little program can talk with its next little program.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, we create our enterprise solution. So it's not necessarily weak system design, but it's not. I outgrow my suit. I need to go buy a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't. You can say it's weak system design. You can say it's a strong system design. It's all based on your own business. It's
Mm-hmm.
all based on also in your own solutions.
Mm-hmm.
One fit doesn't fit all.
Mm-hmm.
That's mainly the system design weakness thing. We, other other than software, we can find a loophole, a networking problem, a security problem. We need to address this ASAP. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, in our current architecture, we can't over. We can't go away from this problem. So we need
Mm-hmm.
to re-establish our architecture. We need to redesign so we can overcome these problems.
Thanks a lot, Amr.
Along the way, we can always change our system design or we can always upgrade it. That's why we have versions for everything. Version 1, version 2, version 3, 1.1, 1.2.
Thanks. Very good piece of insight here to those who are planning to further work on the architectures that made, and thanks for encouraging system architectures and system designers, because in the future it will be a very helpful insight to them. And here we already come up with you on how to put the ideas on paper and why it's necessary. Our listeners already know how to best practices of agreeing on ideas inside your team, because usually there are a lot of stakeholders on the team, including founders, development team, right, marketers, and so on. Prior to launching our idea, why it's necessary to put the right list of features and what practices to use to eliminate incorrect features for your MVPs. We also covered with you a good point of how to build the right architectures, right? And what examples of components might be used for such architecture, strong ones. Imagine we already implemented our MVP. And after implementation of our MVP, we saw some demand or some attraction by our target audiences in our product. And here we decide that we'd like to add more features on top. And here we also want, for instance, cover more target audiences, not only small users, right, like small companies who will be using our product, but also big enterprises. Here is a question: how is better to approach further scaling of our product, not to overcomplicate the interface? Because the very key idea of our today's webinar is when building your product, aim to design for simplicity, right, and adaptability at the same time. That's exactly what you were mentioning a couple of times ago through our webinar. Usually, it's advised companies to release a simple MVP, as we discussed, right? And through some iterations, trying to add features. Here's a good example. Slack, a very well-known chat application used not only by small organizations but big enterprises. They grew from a chat application into a product for enterprises just with adding a small add-on. In order to serve the needs of enterprise-level companies, Slack basically added an app directory to their application. And this app directory allowed a lot of enterprise level companies to insert or to receive applications, niche applications they utilize on a day-to-day basis. In this way, Slack did not compete with these third-party applications, which usually their enterprise customers were in need. But combining Slack plus app directory inside the Slack, they gave everything, almost everything to enterprise level companies without even developing this wheel from scratch, right? Redeveloping the wheel, as you mentioned during today's webinar. Based on your experience, how do you keep a startup product simple without limiting growth? So imagine from your experience, you implemented the MVP, and now you need to put on top features. For sure, marketing already probably investigated what target users needed, but probably you have your own vision on whether to put these features or not and why. Would be nice to get the thoughts.
Okay, let's divide it into two, the business side and the developer side.
Mm-hmm,
For the overall, before we divide it, the MVP is not my product. It's
mm-hmm,
the magic pill that I give, so you will buy my product,
mm-hmm,
whether it's only the MVP or other features added. So from the business side, of course, I have a vision, so I will need to add this feature and that feature, and the marketing and the sales will sell most features that I don't have,
mm-hmm,
and we have to build them on the pipeline. That's why we have a pipeline. We have a set of features that we need to add one by one. We must give them a priority. So
mm-hmm,
the development team start working according to our priorities. As you said, for Slack, our first priority, we will launch chat applications.
mm-hmm,
Let's make the most known application now, ChatGPT.
mm-hmm,
You only say a bar that you text stuff, and it will give you whatever you want. Google, you only say a bar, you put text in it, and
mm-hmm,
it searches and give you all those results. Whether it's text, it's websites, it's images, it's videos or maps. So we don't need overcomplicate the design, but we need to build the right solution for our vision of our product.
This is the business side, right, of your
Business
answer.
side,
What
yeah.
then about the technical
The
side?
technical side and development side. We already finished the MVP
Mm-hmm,
at internally, we know what is our shortcomings, what we can really achieve, what we can't. So
mm-hmm,
when we sit with the business team, we say, yeah, yes, this we can do. No, this we can't do.
Mhm.
No, it's most likely no, we can do it right now. So
Mhm.
on these meetings, we say this feature has a priority of 10, 9, 5. So we have our backlog. We do our development based on this backlog.
Usually, why technical teams trying to put some features to backlog and prioritizing the other features, whether it's somehow related to architectures they built or to the features that they initially put to the MVPs? Why?
Uh, I will tell you. That's a really great question. Why we build the backlog? Why we do it? Why we have a backlog already? We have, let's say, 100 features that need to be done so the product is launched.
Mhm.
So, what will we do first? We say we do the MVP. What
Mhm.
what is meant by MVP? As a developer, not necessarily. I don't know what is your business entirely. So if
Mhm.
you tell me put this button here, put this button there, I put it. I don't care what you want it for.
Mhm.
When he goes up, he will understand more. But for the juniors, they don't understand the business, and they are not meant to understand the business.
Mhm.
That's why we do a backlog. We have a set of features, a set of tasks we need to do for our product to go to be functional.
Mhm.
We give every task a weight. So
Mhm.
the highest weight we do first. The highest weight is the MVP. So now we have a viable product. We have a working product. After that, we need to add, let's say, a screen recording feature
Mhm.
and a chatbot that the customer can chat with, so
Mhm.
they can order or they can if they have a problem or whatever they need the chatbot for.
Mhm.
What should we develop first?
Mhm.
The business will decide.
What should we develop first in this case? So
Exactly.
I mean, from the point of whether we should have a look really at the business side of it, or maybe the development team can recommend something else. Like, guys, probably from the business point of view, you could like to implement chatbot, but from the point of architecture, for us, it's cheaper to implement the feature one from the backlog because it will be cheaper to do it right now than adding it at the next iteration, for instance, phase
Exactly.
three. So
Exactly.
maybe you had some examples and you can give examples with real features implementations or processes you made.
Okay, let's say I'm building now a system that has forms
Mm-hmm,
for data gathering,
mm-hmm,
and it will have help desk like features,
mm-hmm,
and it will have some other features.
mm-hmm,
How should I approach this set of application? This application is a huge system if built correctly because it is three or four separate systems built into one.
mm-hmm,
So my pain right now is the data gathering, for example. So
mm-hmm,
we start there as a business.
mm-hmm,
I really need to get out these features so we can develop it. So we start developing this structure of these features or this functionality of the application.
mm-hmm,
Uh, Further down the line, the founder or the business owner or the idea, we need to we might need to separate this feature into its own application.
mm-hmm,
Now back to the development stack. We can't misjudge this simple regard. Why? If my architecture or my system design is not built for the possibility in the future that these features will be its own application,
mm-hmm,
for example, the Messenger and Facebook.
Mhm.
It wasn't meant to be, so it's now deleted.
Mhm.
Uh, in the future, we might do this change, so we need it in our design phase. Uh, my current situation, yes, we might need the forms stuff, be its own
Mhm.
application, and it will be standalone. It might be hosted in a different space. So
Mhm.
the development team need to work around that we can cut off this part and the system still works.
Mhm.
Whatever development we are doing is not affected.
Mhm.
Whether my database won't go down, my front end won't glitch, or nothing will happen to me as a software.
Mhm.
That's a shortcut that I can take right now.
Indeed. Thanks a lot for this insight because, for sure, as we discussed previously, we won't be able to give the explanations to each and every question which founder asks, right, prior to beginning his idea. However, taking some examples and the history of resolution of some challenges, right, and your experience will definitely help these founders to apply this knowledge to their day-to-day operations in launching their startup. Amor, unfortunately, we should wrap up our discussion. It was my pleasure holding this webinar today along with you. And I'm very thankful to you for the insights you shared, for the recommendations you provided, for the pieces of advice you've given to the audiences and our listeners, and maybe to take the most out of this session. Let's imagine uh, the case where you can really give some personal advice to those who are building their ideas. If you are building a startup today with your experience of decades behind your back, which you have, what would you do differently from day one? Having this experience compared to the Amr without this experience of decades.
Okay, it's my pleasure to be with you today. Uh, to wrap up all this in one question, it's hard to give an answer, but simply put, now we are overcomplicating stuff. Everything has to have AI. Everything has to have this keyword or that key feature. We
Mm-hmm.
don't need it all. So, my if I am were to build a solution now, I would go simply with my team.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every one will go ask our chatbot or model of choice. Build me an architecture of this, or build me a plan for that, or
Mm-hmm.
then use our expertise, use our knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
use our brains, not the AIs,
Mm-hmm.
and put it into a viable plan that we can achieve.
Mm-hmm.
My ability to achieve something is different than yours, is different than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
We are not all the same. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have the same network. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
knowledge base. The thing is, we need to start.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go build your MVP. You need to sell it. You need to give it to someone for free.
Mm-hmm.
You might be wrong, then you can readjust. You are still a startup. You are still a small entity. You can readjust. You can reposition yourself. You can do whatever you need
Mm-hmm.
to succeed. You don't have to have a full vision right now, but you have to be clear with yourself where your vision is going. That way, you can develop it correctly. As we mentioned before, there is no weak system design, but there is an inaccurate system. We can have a great architecture, but it's not usable for us, or it's oversized. We don't need
Mm-hmm.
everything right now. We might not need everything ever. That's don't overcomplicate things. We don't need to have all the new bells and whistles.
Mm-hmm.
We can just start. Not all products are the greatest products, but for some, they are the greatest. Uh,
And basically, the target audience of yours will tell you what else should be added to this product.
exactly.
Sounds like a good plan here.
If you get any value out, whoever finds this valuable will help you to add value for himself, not for you.
Because in the initial product is for your client, not for you. A good
Exactly.
piece of advice. Thank you, Amar.
Thank you.
Thanks. It was my pleasure to welcome you to our webinar. Bye for
Also,
now.
bye.